Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for the nice meal. Nice to be in front of the Gyro Pub again. I was here last fall with the leaders' debate for the seat of mayor, and appreciated the opportunity and the hospitality. And so thank you once again. You're going to be making a very important decision for the city of Regina in the next week, next Wednesday. On September 25th, you'll be asked to support a type of funding model for the wastewater treatment plant. We're going to have it built. That is not the question, it's how it's funded and operated. But before I get into the specifics of how the city of Regina and the city council proposes to fund this operation, I want to give you a bit of a context for that. As you know, Regina is a growing city. We have a fast-growing population. We have a young population coming to our city. We have the lowest unemployment rate in Canada, one of the fastest growing economies. We have people moving from all over the world. You look around our streets where we walk, we have people of different colors, different nationalities here to make our city a strong and vibrant community. The role of the city council is, among other things, to build our community, to plan for growth, to make sure that we accommodate the growth in people that are here. And I think we've done a fairly good job at that. Some of the most recent things that have happened, we have begun an annexation process around Regina to accommodate the growth. We have the lowest vacancy rate for housing in Canada, and that is a big problem in our city. Our council has taken this as a major priority to help fix that issue. We've also got some regional economic development growth happening with the arm of Sherwood. So we have a good basis for regional economic growth and a good way to grow our economy. Now, we do have some burdens that we carry, and that is a lack of revenue to build our infrastructure. Only 8 cents of every dollar that you spend in taxes to all orders of government come to municipalities. 8 cents of every dollar. Yet we have virtually 75% of the infrastructure responsibility for municipalities with that kind of money. And we have about a $2 billion deficit, and that is the renewal of our current infrastructure and anticipated growth in the future. So we have an issue, and that's a common element around every municipality around the country. So when we look at how we can fund infrastructure, how we can stretch your tax dollars, and show accountability, we look for partnerships. We look for ways to work with other orders of government, perhaps the private sector in this case, to begin to address the issue and not be such a burden on taxpayers. So we need a new wastewater facility, a new sewage plant, for 2 reasons. The one I just said, for economic growth, for development, and the growth of our city and our region. We also need it for another equally important reason, and that is we have new emission standards from senior governments. We have to have this new plant upgraded and expanded by December 31st, 2016. So that means we have to get going, roll our sleeves up, and find a way to do this. So over the last few years, council has deliberated, the previous council and this council has deliberated on how can we fund this the best way. How can we do this? So we looked at 12 models. I'm not going to go through all 12, believe me. I'll put you to sleep like that. 12 models, from design, bid, build, the classic traditional way to build a building or facility, over to a public-private partnership, which is what City Council finally decided on. But it wasn't without a lot of research, due diligence, study, advice from consultants and from our administration. And at the end of the day, City Council agreed on a public-private partnership. This was a unanimous agreement by 11 members of council who represent everyone in the city, all walks of life, all different interests, backgrounds, all those things were important. So let me tell you, at a high level, why we chose this. And I think you'll find this is a compelling argument, and enough that 11 people from different walks of life have said, yes, we should do this. So a $224.3 million facility has to be built. It's going to be one of the most complicated, sophisticated, and difficult projects to build for our city. Not the most expensive though, but certainly one of the most complicated. So we sought advice on how to do this, and through a public-private partnership, we would have a company partner with the city in designing, building, financing, operating, and maintaining the facility for us. Now the model that we show, and the research we've done, indicates that we will save a lot of money doing it this way. About $20 million in terms of the operation maintenance. Excuse me. That's an important element. But we also know the savings with the construction. $224.3 million. Well, that was called a fixed price contract, a performance-based contract. And this is new to the city, and not for every project. The company cannot exceed that price, and any price above that, any cost above that, any delays of construction, doesn't rest with taxpayers in a typical design bid build, the other model we're looking at. It rests with the builder. And they take this on because these companies, these large consortiums, understand what they're doing. They've built it before. They have more margins. They have better supply chains to build these. So taxpayers are saved that issue. Now, typically a construction project can go over price by 10%. Not unheard of. There'd be a $20 million hit on the design bid build. Very concerned to taxpayers, again, because of this issue. But what's equally compelling is that the federal government will provide $58.5 million as part of the project. We think that that's a win for the city. When we have a lack of tax dollars, we need infrastructure to be done. Going with partnerships with the federal government is the way to go. Reducing pressure on taxes, stretching our tax dollars, trying to be more efficient. So we think this is a great argument, a great proposal. We also want to have this facility operated and maintained by this consortium, this company. And when we make this decision, we've got about 10 different consortiums now who express an interest. We'll look at their background, their skill, their experience, their financial muscle, what they've done before. And from those 10, and maybe more if we vote to have a public-private partnership, could be more or less, but that's what we have now. We will ask the top 3 to bid on an RFP. This company will, they will also operate and maintain it on contract over 30 years. That contract will be tabled at council as soon as it's negotiated, so it's not a secret deal of any kind. It's on the table. But it is performance-based again. The rates that you pay in the utility are controlled by the city of Regina, not by this company. We set the rates when you pay your bill, because those bills, the actual rate you pay is beyond just the scope of the facility itself. It's for other infrastructure renewal for our wastewater system. Very important to do that. So we'll save a significant amount of money, your tax dollars. We can use that for other important issues. $20 million savings, plus we have the $58.5 million that the federal government's giving us. Very important. You may hear that there's discussion about we are privatizing this facility, and we are not. I'll make it very clear and give you an analogy to make a point. You own your house, you have someone come in and they replace your foundation of your house. They replace the roof of your house. They change the furnace. They mow your lawn for you. No one questions whether you own that facility. You may even hire someone to do this on a regular basis to maintain your lawn and always look after your house. No one says that you don't own your house. You have a mortgage on your house. Look at the land titles, you see that you own the house. No question about that at all. So to be very clear here, the City of Regina will always own and control that facility. Very important to get that. So to talk about drinking water or waste or water being part of this deal. I want to be very clear here. This issue is about sewage. It's about one facility. It's about one stream of water that goes outside the facility. It does not treat the water that comes from Buffalo Pound, which is your drinking water. Any discussion on the contrary is making it difficult for people to understand. It's those who are casual observers or just now plugging in to find out what's happening. We spent many months, years, as a council administration evaluating. This is a unanimous agreement of City Council and Executive